This experiment is Fitts Law experiment. So you will need to get the Fitts Law sheet attached on Blackboard, and a writing utensil, and some form of a timer. So if you have a cell phone, or maybe there's a timer on your computer, some way to time, even if it's not perfect like a watch. Okay, so we're gonna do estimates. So what you want to do is, looking at the Fitts Law sheet, you have 3 sets of boxes. So on those boxes, what you're going to do is look at the lines next to the box, and the first time through you're going to use your writing utensil to tap back and forth from the center of the line to the center of the box 10 times. So I'm going to tap here in the middle, I'm going to tap in the box, I'm going to tap here, I'm going to tap here. So 1 time counts as line, box 1, line, box 2, line, box 3, etc. So you'll figure out how long it takes for you to complete 10 taps. So this is why you need the timer. So do 10 taps, count out loud, tap, tap 1, tap, tap 2, and then record your time for that trial. Okay, so there are 3 different size boxes where we have a small box, big box, and a bigger box. And you'll complete 1 trial for each box. So you'll have 3 different times, 1 for the small box, 1 for the medium box, 1 for the large box. And you're going to tap it back and forth. Okay, so go and do that now. Okay, once you finish that, what you'll do is turn your sheet over, your piece of paper, or whatever you're writing on. In the second experiment, you're going to do the same thing as the first, except we're not physically going to tap. We're only going to imagine tapping. So you will still have those boxes, but you're just going to imagine tapping in the middle of the line, tapping in the middle of the box, but still do it out loud. So imagine yourself tap in the line, tap in the box 1, tap in the line, tap in the box 2. Okay, so these are mental taps. You'll complete a trial for each of those boxes again. And so you'll have 3 recordings for small, medium, and large box for tapping, actually tapping, and then you'll have 3 scores for mentally tapping. And that's what you're going to post on Blackboard to complete this experiment, is 6 times. 1 for each box, 1 for taps, 1 for imagined taps. Okay. And so you'll want to go do the imagined taps now. Alright, so what happened in this experiment? Well, we'll have the results online soon, but it's based off of Fitts' Law. So it's the finding that the amount of time it takes to make the movement follows a very precise mathematical formula. It's a log likelihood formula based on the length of the movement, so the distance of the line to the size of the box. So because the boxes are bigger, we should get an increase. So here are some typical, excuse me, some typical results. So we have the easy movements, so those are the small ones, to the difficult movements, those are the larger movements. Having to move further is harder. And then we have the real tapping and the imagined tapping. So there's a linear increase in the time for movement as it gets harder. So that holds for real movements and imagined movements, even though for imagined movements you didn't have to move. So you should be able to tap as quickly as you want, but because you're imagining them in the same way that you are actually physically doing it, you can't, you still get this same pretty parallel pattern. Okay. So in conclusion, that suggests that the processes for imagining movements are basically the same as the processes in performing those movements. And neuroscience results show the same thing. So if I ask you to imagine tying your shoes, the parts of your brain that are involved with tying your shoes will light up in an fMRI. And that's the motor cognition stuff we've talked about in this module. So imagining doing something is the same thing as actually doing it, which is embodied cognition.